I stared at the wedding invitation under the soft glow of my desk lamp. Evelyn and Marcus cordially invite you. My sister's wedding. Apparently the social event of the year, judging by my aunt's endless voicemails. Evelyn had spent the past year planning it, ever since she got engaged to Marcus Lang, heir to Lang Tech Group, one of Boston's largest robotics firms. The irony hit hard. 11 years ago, Evelyn laughed when I left law school to launch a startup no one believed in. Lena's lost her mind, she had told my parents over brunch. She'll be back, broke and humiliated before the year ends. That return never came. Instead, I'd built Everlink Dynamics from a co-working space in Cambridge, grinding through sleepless nights and investor rejections. While Evelyn climbed the PR ranks at Lang Tech, I was shipping prototypes, managing beta testers, and praying the servers wouldn't crash mid-demo. My family barely noticed. They were too busy raving about Evelyn's corporate headshots and designer handbags. "Ms. Mitchell," my assistant called, snapping me out of my thoughts. "The quarterly strategy review is in 10. Nodded, placing the invitation aside. Everlink Dynamics was now valued at $2,300,000,000, 0 cents. Though no one outside my inner circle knew I owned it. I operated through shell firms and blind trusts. To my family, I was just some operations manager at a tech consultancy. Also, my assistant continued, Lang Tech just sent over the final purchase order for the neural interface chips. They need them by mid-next quarter. Ah yes, the $65 million 0 cents deal they'd been chasing. What they didn't know? The chips were ours. And I was the one they'd need to finalize it. The wedding was this Saturday. I considered skipping it, but Mom called 3 times. "Your sister is marrying into the Lang family," she'd said, beaming. "At least try not to embarrass us this time." The morning arrived. Cool, crisp, Boston skies. I wore a midnight blue gown, understated but custom-made. The label? Subtle. The statement? Unmistakable. The ceremony was exactly as over-the-top as you'd expect when legacy wealth met tech money. Over 500 guests, gold-plated cutlery, a live-string quartet flown in from Italy, and floral arrangements so massive they required scaffolding. "Lena," my mother's voice floated across the glass terrace of the Lang estate in Beacon Hill. She air-kissed my cheek, careful not to disturb her carefully set curls. "You actually came, and you look decent." Behind her, my father was deep in conversation with one of the Lang Tech board members. No doubt discussing their big neural interface rollout. If only they knew. "Where should I sit?" I asked, glancing at the ornate seating chart. "Oh," my mother said vaguely, "we had to rearrange a few things last minute. Evelyn's guests came in droves, you understand." Oh, I understood. In their eyes, I was still the cautionary tale, the sister who threw away a promising legal career to play with gadgets. They didn't know Everlink Dynamics had recently acquired 3 of Lang Tech's primary component suppliers. That $65 million 0 cents chip contract? Just the beginning. The ceremony was breathtaking. I'll admit, Evelyn looked stunning and Marcus glowed with smug assurance. I sat in the last row, watching it all like a ghost at a party. At the reception, I scanned the ballroom for my name card. Nothing. "Looking for something?" Evelyn asked, her voice syrupy. She had changed into a sleeker dress, glowing in curated perfection. "My seat," I said calmly. "Oh, didn't they tell you?" she replied, her smile tight. "We had to reserve the main tables for more prominent guests, but the kitchen set something up near the staff lounge. Very cozy." Laughter bubbled from a few tables nearby. Then Marcus joined her, smug. "Come on, Lena. Don't cause a scene. You've always been good at staying in your lane." I smiled. 10 years of being their afterthought burned behind my calm. I pulled out my phone and dialed. "Hi, Jack. This is Lena Mitchell. Terminate the Lang Tech contract. All of it." Marcus's glass slipped, shattering. Evelyn's jaw tightened. "What are you doing?" Marcus hissed. I didn't answer. I just walked toward the exit. "What contract?" Marcus snapped. I held up my phone, displaying the Everlink Dynamics logo. The $65 million 0 cents neural chip deal your father's been counting on. The one Langtech hoped would rescue this quarter. The one my company was about to deliver. The color drained from his face. Everlink? That's a billion-dollar firm. You're not. Not what, Marcus? I said coolly. Not capable of building something real, not more than the family disappointment. I slid the phone back into my clutch. Congrats again on the wedding. I'm sure the kitchen staff saved you a slice of cake. The ballroom fell silent. Forks hovered mid-air. Glasses froze in guests' hands. Evelyn's smile cracked. Her voice was a venomous whisper. You're lying. Everlink Dynamics is owned by Jackson Rowe, she hissed. Everyone knows that. I smiled. Jackson Rowe is my godfather. He lent his name and face while I built the company in the background. Feel free to call him. Marcus's jaw clenched, his face a pale gray. But the neural contract. Dad's entire launch depends on it. I know, I said calmly. Just like I know about Langtech's failed AR rollout, the investor pullback, and the leveraged loans you've been using to stay afloat. Then came the voice behind them. What's going on? Mr. Lang demanded, striding over, his polished shoes clicking against the marble. Marcus, why is your sister discussing our contract? I turned to him with a pleasant smile and extended my hand. Mr. Lang, Lena Mitchell, CEO of Everlink Dynamics. You may know me better as LM Strategic Holdings, the firm that led all recent supplier talks. His eyes widened as if slapped. Your LM Holdings? The one buying up our vendors? Guilty, I replied. Your due diligence team missed a few breadcrumbs, but no hard feelings. At that moment, my mother burst through the circle of onlookers, flushed with indignation, and rose. Lena, stop this! You're humiliating your sister! Nonsense, I said, lifting my phone. Would you prefer the Q2 earnings reports or a scan of the acquisition contracts? I have both. Marcus's hand suddenly gripped my arm, hard. Fix this, he growled. Whatever stunt this is, undo it. I looked down at his hand, then back up at him, and I smiled. I met Marcus's eyes, unflinching. Fix things? Like when I asked you for a loan to start my company? When I begged you to believe in me and you laughed? Get a real job, he said. Stop dragging the family name through the mud. That was different, he snapped. You were chasing some fantasy, being unrealistic. Was I? I gestured around the glittering ballroom. Tell me, Marcus, who paid for all this? Langtech, the company that's 3 months from insolvency without my chips? Evelyn let out a strangled sob, her mascara streaking under the chandelier lights. Daddy, is this true? Are we really? Mr. Lang fumbled with his bow tie, sweat collecting at his brow. Princess, it's complicated. Business takes time. We just need... Time won't help, I said quietly. Your burn rate's unsustainable. The chip contract was your last hope. My father stepped forward. Then, finally, with a shaky voice. Lena, all this time when we thought you were struggling, I was building, I cut in, an empire, one that now eclipses Langtech and all its subsidiaries. But I guess appearances matter more than substance in this family. Murmurs rippled through the ballroom. Guests reached for their phones, typing in Everlink Dynamics, putting it all together. The dream wedding was quickly becoming a PR disaster. Please, Marcus whispered, his bravado gone. Lena, not here. Don't destroy this day. Think of the family. I laughed, sharp and cold. The family? You mean the one that cropped me out of every holiday photo because I didn't wear Burberry? The one that said I was throwing my life away because I didn't become a lawyer like you? Mother stepped forward, trying to restore order. Darling, we were just concerned. We only wanted a stable, respectable life for you. Like Marcus? I said, voice low. The golden boy who's been embezzling from his division to cover his gambling losses? Marcus turned chalk white. I own the firm that audits Langtech's books, I said calmly. I know everything, Marcus. Every false report, every shell payment. Evelyn spun toward him, her dress swishing like silk thunder. You stole from my father? Guests were openly recording now. What was once a display of status had become a collapse caught on camera. Mr. Lang's face darkened to a deep shade of crimson, and I smiled. Security, Mr. Lang barked, panic rising. Remove her, all of them. I wouldn't, I said calmly, brushing an invisible speck from my midnight blue dress. Yes, the same one my mother had criticized hours earlier. Not unless you'd like Everlink to call in every loan we've acquired from your lenders. Let that sink in. We own a significant portion of Langtech's debt now. It'd be a shame if it all came due at once. The security team hesitated, eyes darting between their employer and me. The shift in the room was palpable. Power was no longer at the head table. Responding, Mr. Lang's voice cracked. What do you want? I tilted my head. Want? I already have it. $1 billion company, industry respect, and now? The poetic satisfaction of watching the family who dismissed me beg for mercy. Marcus stumbled forward. Lena, please, we can work something out, maybe a seat on the board, full partnership? I smiled. Marcus, by next week, I'll own controlling interest in Langtech. You're gambling, your father's negligence. It handed me the company. The neural chip deal was just the final handshake before the acquisition. Evelyn dropped into a chair, her wedding gown wilting around her like crushed silk. This can't be real. Not today. You're right, I said, echoing her earlier insult. The kitchen staff does have a lovely table set up, perfect for your new place in the hierarchy. My mother reached for me one last time. Lena, think about what you're doing. We're your family. No, I replied softly. You're the people who taught me that worth is measured in brands and brunch invitations. That was the best fuel I ever got. I turned toward the exit, then glanced back. Oh, Marcus, those debts you've been hiding? Everlink owns those too. Expect a call. Behind me, the ballroom erupted. Evelyn sobbing, Mr. Lang roaring, my mother desperately trying to salvage Grace. Outside, my Tesla waited at the curb, elegant, unflashy, like the woman who built a tech empire while everyone underestimated her. My driver, also head of security, opened the door. Everything okay, Miss Mitchell? I gave the chaos one last look. Everything's perfect. Let's go, Mike. We've got a company to finalize. Langton's stock nosedived as news of its debt crisis and Marcus's embezzlement hit the press. Evelyn filed for annulment within the week, unwilling to anchor herself to a sinking legacy. My parents left voicemail after voicemail, shifting from rage to regret with each passing day. But I stayed focused, doing what I did best, building. Everlink Dynamics absorbed Langtech's key assets, stripped the excess and cut the rot. Most employees stayed. Management didn't. Marcus's department was the first to go. 3 months after the wedding that never truly was, I sat in my corner office overlooking Boston Harbor, reviewing Everlink's quarterly reports. We were up 24%. My assistant buzzed in. Monsieur? There's someone here to see you. No appointment. Send them in, I said without looking up. The door opened and a wave of expensive perfume trailed in. My mother stood before me, older, uncertain, holding a designer handbag that was no longer in season. The receptionist didn't recognize me, she said, voice small. I had to show my ID. The security protocol, I replied, meeting her eyes. We've had some unexpected visitors since the acquisition. Didn't have it in her to throw things away. She sat down uninvited, clutching her bag like it might shield her. Your father and I, we've done some thinking about how we treated you, what we failed to see. And, I asked, voice flat. We were wrong, she whispered. So terribly wrong. We thought success looked like Marcus glamour, not grit. But what you've built, we understand now. I leaned back. Did you come to apologize? Or because the club dues are due and you need a favor? She flinched. We deserved that. But Lena, you're still our daughter. Surely that means something. It meant nothing when I needed you, I said. Why should it matter now? Tears welled in her eyes. Because we've learned. Because we're proud of you, even if we don't deserve to be. I stood and looked out at the skyline. Pride is easy now, but would you have been proud when I was coding in a basement, wearing the same hoodie for a week straight? No, she admitted, and that shame is ours. I turned back to her. Marcus called again. He wants a job. And? I told him what he told me 11 years ago. I smiled. Got a real job. Get some real experience first. Stop relying on family favors. She nodded slowly. He's living in her guest room now, she murmured. Evelyn's family wants nothing to do with us since the fallout. The mighty fall hard, I said, folding my hands. How does it feel, Mother, being on the other end of society's judgment? She lowered her gaze. Humbling, terrifying, educational. I pressed a button on my phone. Clara, could you bring in the package for Mrs. Mitchell? Moments later, Clara entered with a thick envelope and placed it on the desk. I handed it to my mother. What's this? She asked, cautious fingers opening it. A clean slate, I replied. Information on Everlink's small business initiative, resources on affordable commercial leases, contact details for licensed business mentors. If you want to build something, really build it, this is how. She stared down at the documents, then back at me. You'd help us? After everything? I'm not helping, I said. I'm offering a chance. No shortcuts. No Mitchell name pulling strings. You earn it. Like I did. On merit. She stood, holding the packet like a fragile gift. Thank you, Lena. For the opportunity and the clarity. One more thing, I added as she reached the door. That kitchen table at Evelyn's wedding, it turned out to be the best seat in the house. You see people for who they really are down there. She nodded slowly, understanding more than she had before. Then she left. I turned back to my work. Everlink Dynamics was expanding into AI-driven biotech, and we had contracts to finalize. Sometimes revenge isn't loud. Sometimes it's not about making them suffer, it's making them see. Sometimes the greatest success isn't proving others wrong, it's proving yourself right. Everlink became a leader in ethical tech innovation. Marcus, last I heard, he was a junior analyst, learning what real accountability meant. My parents opened a modest design boutique with one of our small loans. Not flashy, but real. And me? I kept that old folding table from my garage in my office, a reminder that greatness begins where no one else believes it can. The kitchen table, after all, is where real work gets done. If you've made it this far, I want to thank you, not just for watching but for seeing me. For years, I was invisible in my own family. Dismissed, mocked, written off. But I kept building, kept believing, even when no one else did. If my story resonates with you, drop a comment below. Tell me about your own kitchen table beginnings, your silent wins, your moments of being underestimated, and if you've ever been told you weren't good enough, smart enough, or respectable enough, let this be your reminder. They were wrong. Hit that like button if you've ever worked twice as hard just to be seen. Subscribe if you believe success doesn't have to come wrapped in approval. It just has to be real. Share this with someone who's building something quietly, because we all need a little fire to keep going. And if you're still grinding in silence, keep going. Don't chase validation, chase value. The people who matter will notice when it matters most, and those who don't, they'll be left trying to buy seats at your table after you've already built it. Because the kitchen table isn't just where you're seated, it's where empires are started.